I struggle in that. At the lower tier, you can maybe try the F5, but it's just got a really limited loadout, and the US one only gets the 2 missiles. You get 6 AGMs that are pretty effective, but other than that, I saw some people trying the F111. It's got the speed, you can carry quite a few 9Ls, but it's pretty difficult to dogfight because it's so big. I mean, it's not meant to. So, and of course, you can carry a decent ground loadout with that too. With the rewards going up, the F111 might be a decent option now. Because you can shoot those AG, if you can get up high, shoot the AGMs from pretty far away, and then kind of just play aerial defense of the front line. Anybody that starts, pushing towards the airfields, you can dive down on and drop, 2 or 3 9Ls on their head. The F111 could end up finding a pretty cool spot if the mode, finds a nice happy medium. But honestly, I haven't played the lower BR that much because I only have the F5 and the F4J. And I tried in the F4J. I need to do it again. I would try again. It just had been so long since I've flown that plane. And when I was starting this game, when I got to the F4J, I was still on controller on PlayStation. So when I went back to try and fly it now on mouse and keyboard and, all this, it felt so weird. Although playing this mode for a little bit and doing it, we may try that. I'm sure this will probably take me a couple tries to get the mark done. So, and if I can't get one here in like 20 minutes, we'll switch over and do that BR. The F4 is your way to go. And as far as like the straight presets, F4 and then the A10, of course, you just have to be patient with the A10. I wouldn't try to head rush into wherever they're coming from. Pick one of the different airfields to spawn from, and then just low and slow, take your time, and ground pound the shit out of stuff. Maybe, I'm not sure if it should let you test fly. I would maybe even go in and do a couple of test flights and play around with some of the ground targeting systems and make sure your keybinds are good. Just practice with them a little bit, and then, you'll be fine. That thing is useful, especially if the rewards, are worth it. God, that thing can carry so much. Inside my shell I wait and bleed. Now down and clear the stone of blues. Inside my shell I wait and bleed. Goodbye. All right. We're at 100. Wow, this is the first time I've seen it dip below 200 since the event started. It's at 166,000 this morning. Wow. I felt the air rise up in me, kneel down and clear the stone of lives. What did they add? What the hell? Why is this red? I wonder. Oh, I haven't bought them yet. Is that why? I felt the air rise up in me, kneel down and clear the stone of lives. Yeah, and this one, is it 12.0 that it resets? So yeah, the 111 would fit in there. Goodbye. And honestly, the F8 isn't a terrible choice. It just, I mean, the radar, F8's not terrible. It's not terrible. Against the F4J, it's probably a little overmatched. The F4s are going to be your best bet. If you've got the money, go ahead and get an F4S. You know, otherwise the F4J is plenty capable. I just need to fly it more. And then the F4E that they give you is actually pretty good. It's just, you know, getting a lock at those, how low these fights are. Everyone's so low to the deck. And there's so much clutter. You've got all the other missiles, all the different planes, the ground clutter, the radar saturation. You know, these radars just weren't designed to, even the newer ones, you know, on the newer aircraft weren't designed to really handle that kind of overwhelming information overload. You know, most of these jets are meant to track 12 targets, I think, like at most, and then target, I think 8 is like the top. Might be 10 nowadays, but still 12. That's how many they can track at one time. And we're in a 16v16 environment normally in ARB, so even your best plane is going to be overwhelmed by too many targets. So we want all this perfect, oh, why is it so hard to lock up? Well, some of it is the game a little bit, but the reality is that's how it is. It's especially back Vietnam era, stuff like that, with all the ground. They were really struggled with ground interference, still do. It's getting better, but I gotta remind myself of that sometimes too. God damn, can't get a lock. It's driving me crazy. Well, why my chat over here isn't working? That's weird. Sorry, man. I'm like staring at this and why I had to refresh. Oh, maybe it'll work now. Not the radar missiles. Nope. 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 Yeah, I used to say that with the F4. It's like, God, I wish they would let you, you know, use those rails for the IR missiles. And it's vice versa, right? There's some times where you'll take a hit and it'll take out your radar, and now suddenly you can't fire radar missiles. It's like, oh, man. And one of my issues, especially with nuclear thunder, has been I always want that radar lock regardless. If you have a radar lock, you can actually aim not every IR missile, but most of the newer IR missiles will be aim assisted by the radar. So if you have a radar lock, the IR seeker is going to slave to that radar lock. And then as soon as you fire it, it's using its own. It's not using the radar anymore to track or anything. It's just being assisted to aim it. And you can actually get the lead out a little bit more. But it's really been like I've had to just turn the radar off just to remove that temptation to try and get a lock when I'm firing IR missiles and just use the IR seeker head, because I'm sitting here like trying to get a lock when the missile has had a lock, you know, for the last like 30 seconds. Especially with the F4, I finally just started turning the radar off because it was driving me crazy. So like for instance, mine is Alt R. So I'll have the radar off while I'm low to the ground. And if I see somebody, you know, pop up and make that mistake, flip that radar on real quick, Alt R. And then because if they're up in the air and off the ground, you can usually get that lock pretty quickly, get that lock, and then you can, you know, fire a radar missile real quick. But yep, I feel you. That's the dilemma. Technically, we should be able to fire one without a lock just to help avoid the incoming missiles. You would think maybe that they would have like an IR mode, because that was a thing, you know, even in real life where, you know, sometimes the radar might short out and stop working. Maybe the circuit breaker blew. You know, maybe you took some small arms fire or some flak and it did take out the avionics and now your radar's not working. You would think there would be, you know, a mode that you could flip that missile into to now it is just going to function like an IR missile. You would think that they would have that, but it probably just adds, you know, a lot of complicated electronics to it that they may not need to. I mean, ultimately, you're talking about something that's going to destroy itself, so you don't want to put too much in it. But that would be a pretty useful function. Never really thought about that before. You would think that would be one of the first thoughts. Crazy. We got silent saint sex and it's awesome because all of it's real. And while you think you're choosing the views that you feed up, all of this and more in live only on the Channel 5 News. Yeah, that would be something. The more I think about it, why the hell is that not a thing? It would be just a simple mode change. It wouldn't even need to be a physical thing. That's like software. Of course, they don't have like seeker heads in them like IR missiles do. So I guess they would have to build it out like an IR missile, and then like the whole head is different. Maybe it would be. Maybe that IR seeker is a little more complicated than I'm thinking it is. We're this angry thing, sad and lost, and it's awesome because all of it's real. All of it develops live only on the Channel 5 News. Only on the Channel 5 News. Only on the Channel 5 News. Oh, here I was giving HOJ shit yesterday. He waited like an hour when he first started. And while he was waiting, I was like, dang it, because I had like 600 points that I needed after yesterday to finish the US mark. We had a decent match, and when it finished, I was at 7,340. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So I got on yesterday evening just to finish it. Jade been waiting for like an hour. I log on, bank right in. Like the second I got on, I didn't even say anything. I'm like, that's just gonna piss him off if I tell him. And now I'm paying for it. Sitting here waiting. That was 10 minutes. I reset it at 10 minutes, so we'll see. To give it to demands. Sad and lost, and it's awesome because all of it's real. Well, it would definitely need the actual seeker head in there. I mean, it would need that. I would have to, certainly the older ones probably wouldn't be able to pull it off, but would have to dig into that a little bit. Would be pretty interesting. But yeah, once the physical seeker was in the missile, it would just be a simple thing in the cockpit, you know, to change it to IR mode. That would be pretty simple. Blah, but that would be a complex ass missile. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 blah. Can I see that up close? You know who would be interested? I'm going to ask Nova about that. Nova actually works on these missiles. That's his job in the Air Force, is working on these 120s. I'm going to ask him about that. Well, this is a 9L right here, but he literally like builds and works on those 120s. Very cool. I'm going to ask him about that. See what he would have to say about that. Because clearly, like, look at the walleye. You can see how complicated some of these heads can be. There's a lot of electronics in there. And it's not like, you know, there's a lot of room in there. So it could be that it's just not